All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Hara HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles of great millstone and salutations to your elect, which we hope to be. It's your brother Khawatya. Got a quick lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelites who better shame of looking like heathens, who spirit bear witness that they're a child of Heavenly Father. In the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, who the world only calls Jehovah, God, or Yahweh. And the name of the Heavenly Son is Yahweh Shai, who the world only calls Jesus Christ, or Jesus Christ, or Yeshua. Quick lesson. Any other preachers come out, you already know it's the Holy Spirit. It's the Holy Spirit, why you believe it or not. And I'm gonna get this in First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. I think it's verse 15. It's First Thessalonians 5:22. It says, "Abstain from all appearance of evil." In the AMP, it says, "Abstain from every form of evil, withdraw and keep away from it." Right. So I'm gonna get to verse 15. It says, "See that none," in the KJV to the left. It says, "See that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men." Right. So pretty much and stuff, I want to go into, how there's certain sins where you do it one time, but it's ongoing, meaning that guess what? You don't do it a second time. You don't do it a third time, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and continuous. But that one time, that is so detrimental onto you that here it is that it's as if you're doing it every day. And I just got a few examples, right? This I want to get the word ongoing first. And as you can see in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it says being actually in process, continuing, continuous, moving forward, growing, like a fester, you know, uh, 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 right, right. I'm gonna get it in etymology, or etymon means the origin or study of the word. It says progressing, proceeding, not intermitting. It says not intermitting and stuff, meaning stopping at intervals, meaning that guess what? It keeps going, not being interrupted. Okay. So this is Sirach, chapter 5, verse 8. And it says, "Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in a day of calamity." So say if unjustly gotten, usually and stuff that goes into theft. You know what I'm saying, right? Uh uh Usually that goes into theft, but unjustly gotten and stuff, right? Maybe it's other ways too. The thing is that you're not the true owner. You know what I'm saying, right? So with you being not the true owner, you know what I'm saying, right? Then you know, uh, uh, those goods won't profit thee in the day of calamity. You know what I'm saying, right? So, like, say if you found like some type of way and stuff to like, well, here go one, identity theft. You know what I'm saying, right? So here it is and stuff. What happens when somebody and stuff has a way and stuff to make money, right? But they don't have to actually put the work in. You know what I'm saying? They just got it continuous, like investments or like stocks and shit like that, right? And you still or you claim to be that person and be in that person's position and whatnot and stuff, just so you can take what it is and stuff that they had earned. You know what I'm saying, right? So when the Lord returns and whatnot and stuff, guess what's gonna happen? You're not going to profit in the day at the day of calamity. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because guess what? You know, uh, uh, you're placed you're placed in a position where it's like iniquity. And what is iniquity? Sin upon sin, right? So with that being the case and stuff, you're in a position where where you're gonna be found in fault when Yahweh Shai returns. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's gonna be like, well, we ain't, it was just one time and stuff. And it's like, but that one time, you know what I'm saying, was still, let's say, that one time and stuff, um, was that one time was as if you was doing it every day. You see? So this Exodus, and this Exodus 21 and 16, and this is an example. It says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Right. So according to Joel 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. Right. And the thing is that, or even with that, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. Right. And guess what? That's identity theft too. For them to claim stuff that they claim and stuff that they Yasharalu and stuff, when really they just you wishes. You know what I'm saying, right? And the thing is that that identity theft, even though they already claim with that Esau Edom, the full-blooded spirit Caucasian, no matter how he looking, no matter what ethnicity and stuff that he finds, no matter ethnicity and stuff that he finds himself in. The thing is that this is a prime example. You know what I'm saying? That they claim to be it was iconoclasm and stuff too, but what they did and stuff is that they made the Heavenly Father and the Heavenly Son and all the righteous prophets, you know what I'm saying, they made them all Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? When that's not their original true color, unless you do have some light skinned Israelites and stuff, right? But other than that and stuff, that wasn't the case, you know. Uh, uh, but in this case and stuff, according to this that that's another example. But Exodus 21 and 16, you know what I'm saying? We are all captives. You know what I'm saying, right? What was that? Emancipation Proclamation and whatnot and stuff, right? A lot of people would think and stuff. It's like, oh, we're free and whatnot and stuff. But guess what? All they did was transfer, instead of selling a man from person to person, even though it's still kind of the same way. And that's found in Revelations 22. You know, uh, uh, it's like we're owned by the state. You know what I'm saying, right? Or owned by the government. You know what I'm saying, right? And the thing is that it's like we're owned by the government, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it did. USA being a corporation, you know what I'm saying, right? So instead of being owned by another, right, and this is done unlawfully, right? Instead of being owned by another and stuff, or being sold, like what's the one thing and stuff? What was it called? Fucking uh uh what is that after Thanksgiving? Black Friday and shit, right? And really it originated goes and stuff to how, when it come down to Black Friday and stuff, how the Israelites and stuff was being sold for right, Israelites was okay. I'm getting my thoughts together. So here it is, Israelites and stuff was being sold. They was taking the stuff by force. You know what I'm saying? And then they was also being sold and stuff to different people. But when it come down to the different other heathen nations, but when it come down to the and this was done in an unlawful way, right? It wasn't Exodus 21. Further up at the top from 1 through 6, right? So when they right, talking about from 1 through 6 and stuff, that wasn't saying this verse 16 right here. Um, what they did and stuff is that, they broke their treaties, you know what I'm saying, enslaved us Israelites. And then at the same time, what did they do? It went, instead of being bought or being sown or shared and stuff amongst, our captives, family members and whatnot and stuff, right? They switched it and stuff where where's like according to the country and stuff, right? They switched it where it's not ownership underneath a person and whatnot and stuff, but to the land, or not to the land and stuff, but I'm forgetting stuff what how it is and stuff, right? But uh, instead of just one ownership, it turned into the corporation. But according to Jeremiah, Joel 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. You know what I'm saying? The elites and whatnot and stuff. Guess what? They own everything. You know what I'm saying, right? So therefore, we're still in this man's hands. So therefore, guess what's going to happen? The Lord's going to put them to death. You know what I'm saying? Except for the few, who going to be building up our kingdom. So it says, so this is James. It's James 3:9. It says, therewith bless we the Most High, Yahweh, even the Father, and therewith uh, 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 curse we men, which are made after the similitude of the Most High. Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Verse 10, it says, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursings, my brethren, these things ought not so to be. It says, verse 11, it says, doeth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter, right? So pretty much the stuff, what that goes into is when it come down to those who are in teacher positions. You know what I'm saying? Apostles, prophets, teachers, and evangelists, right? But then it also goes into, other influencers as well. And pretty much um, when it come down to other when it come down to other influencers, you could I mean, what it's like, not under influence, but what I was saying before, bear with me, just trying to collect my thoughts or to explain plainly, for it to be easily understood. Those who give, there's certain camps out here and stuff where they give, where they let you know and stuff that you Israel, they let you know, like Jeremiah. Jeremiah was a prophet to the nations, so he was given the understanding of the revealing the secrets and stuff of the prophecies. You know what I'm saying, onto Israel and also to non-Israelites, right? You know, but at the same time and stuff, uh, you have camps out there, well, that claim themselves and stuff to be prophets and whatnot and stuff, right? Or to be teachers of the word. And the thing is that what they're doing is that they might say and stuff that you Israel and whatnot and stuff, but then they'll give you a false doctrine and stuff, and that's a curse, right? So this is Ezekiel 3:17. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. It says, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. So if you send somebody off, right? Because like, even when brothers and stuff, they rewatch their videos and stuff, and guess what they do? They try to make a correction. You know what I'm saying, right? Because then guess what? It gets blood off them hands. Get the blood off the hands, and the blood off the hands don't mean that you kill somebody and stuff, right? But sending somebody down the wrong road, road, you know what I'm saying, can will result in stuff in their death. You know what I'm saying, right? And if you call someone and stuff to be spiritually dead and stuff, then guess what? A physical death is going to come afterwards. You know what I'm saying, right? That's why the scripture says, if there be any, to pretty much be not like Esau. You know what I'm saying, right? Right? So here it is and stuff. It'll be continuous. You know what I'm saying? Not just, it'll be say if you do a one-time thing, you teach something and stuff that's false, and somebody went with it and whatnot and stuff. If that's false and they keep going along with that all the way until Yahweh shall return and whatnot and stuff, then guess what? They're gonna be increasing, and it's gonna be like sin upon sin. Even though it was one time and stuff, but guess what? They still in that vibration. So with them still in that vibration and whatnot and stuff, guess they gonna get destroyed. You know what I'm saying, right? They're gonna get destroyed. You know what I'm saying, and then the one and stuff who provided that information and stuff for them to be like that, they'll get destroyed as well. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want nothing like that, right? And that's exactly the stuff what Esau Edom has done. You know what I'm saying? Right, right. What it says in Judith, yeah, in the Apocrypha, it's Judith 5:17. It says, and while they sin not, well, that makes sense. It says in Judah 17:17. Judah 5:17. It says, and whilst they said not before their power, Yahweh Shai, they prospered because the Most High that hateth iniquity was with them. It says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by their enemies. Uh, it says, but now are they returned to their power and are come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Verse 20, it says, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, it says, and they sin against their power, right? It says, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up and we shall overcome them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what going to Psalms, the 83rd chapter, what the child the Gentiles and stuff have confederate teamed up with each other and stuff to come against, you know what I'm saying, the Israelites. So they came with a strategic plan where Israel will always be going off. You know what I'm saying, right? And what's an example on that? This is Deuteronomy chapter 28. Uh, this Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies. It's like it says, Deuteronomy 28 and 48. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst. It says, in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Right? So, what's an example? A lot of our clothes and stuff are mixed fabrics. You know what I'm saying? Right? So we're always going off and whatnot and stuff. But who set that up? Since we're the captives, we don't really have that much power and control. We can't, like even today and stuff, right? It dawned on me where it's like I have never seen pants that was made out of cotton. Now I seen all linen suits with top and bottom. You know what I'm saying? But other than that and stuff, I never seen somebody and stuff with pants that was literally made out of cotton. You know what I'm saying, right? You know, wearing right. So guess what? It's a one time thing. They even though they create many different fabrics and whatnot and stuff, but it's a one time thing and stuff. But then say if you're found with these various fabrics and whatnot and stuff, you're going off. You know what I'm saying, right? And Esau and various other uh heathen uh heathen heathen nationalities and stuff came together and stuff to bring this forth so we can always be in sin. You know what I'm saying, right? Right. So not only just the stealing us and stuff, right, and not being actually free, it also goes into uh um when it come down to the clothing as well. You see, right? So this is uh that's the clothing that's the clothing, mixed fabrics, and also this one. This Ezekiel 3 and 14. Is it 4 and 13? Here we go. Ezekiel 4 and 13. It says, "And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I would drive them." Right. So no matter where we are and stuff on this earth and whatnot and stuff, this food, what I'm saying, is going to be defiled. What I'm saying? Why? Because guess what? Uh, when it come down to nutritious value and stuff, on that on the back and whatnot, where it says ingredients and whatnot, guess what? It's extra shit in there and stuff instead of grape juice. You know what I'm saying? They put other stuff in there. Or like when it come down to junk food and whatnot and stuff, they got red 40, they got they got red 40, they got uh 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 shit, I wish I had something stuff for an example. They got red 40, yellow 40, blue 40 and whatnot, right? And guess what? A lot of that and stuff be bugs and whatnot and stuff, and they use that as a dye instead of using things and stuff that's plant based. You know what I'm saying? So here it is and stuff. They look for things that's unlawful. You know what I'm saying? For they look for things and stuff that's unlawful, uh, um, just to keep Israel in sin. You know what I'm saying, right? So here it is. Say if you getting you some uh, um, say if you getting you some juice or whatnot and stuff, right? Say if you getting some juice, you know, um, uh they gonna put extra shit in there and stuff instead of it just being 100%. That's why what they say, a brother showed a video and stuff in the past about how they put natural flavors, and when it come down to those natural flavors, they're not really natural flavors. And when it come down to those natural flavors, a lot of them be it be other stuff and whatnot and stuff that would low key sicken the body. You know what I'm saying, right? You know how something would say it would say all natural juice and whatnot and stuff, and then when you turn and look at the nutrition list and stuff, it will fuck around and say 0% juice. You know what I'm saying? That means that you're drinking something else. You know what I'm saying, right? Chemicals instead of what's already providing stuff on the earth. You know what I'm saying, right? And guess what? A lot of those things that they use is things and stuff that we're not supposed to consume. So therefore it causes sin. You know what I'm saying? Or it causes sickness. You know what I'm saying, right? That I'm just trying to bring forth an example. Right. So that's one example. This is James 2. I'm trying to hurry up. This is James 2 and 13. It says, for he shall have judgment without mercy that has shewed no mercy, and mercy rejoice against judgment, right? And who has shown no mercy? Esau Edom, because here it is, uh uh going back to the clothing and whatnot and stuff, we're always gonna be in sin. But there's sin and stuff that we can't control. Yeah, if you get rich and whatnot and stuff, right? Uh um uh um if you get rich and whatnot and stuff and try to bring in your clothing line and whatnot and stuff, right? It's gonna cost a lot. You know what I'm saying, right? So guess what? You ain't gonna be able to benefit everyone where they're wearing 100% fabric. You know what I'm saying? Your underwear and stuff. Guess what? It can be cotton, polyester. You know what I'm saying? Even when it come down to what they claim and stuff to be legit socks and whatnot and stuff, or certain. Let me see. I got a shirt right here. If it is what I think it is, I don't know if I got the tag still on it. I don't know. This saying 100% cotton from Mexico. Yeah. Well, I got a shirt and stuff that's actually 100% cotton. Who's say? But when it comes down to it and stuff, you know what I'm talking about. It got mixed fabrics, and with those mixed fabrics and stuff, that's against the laws, statutes, commandments and stuff. So therefore, the nation of Israel are in sin, and all guess what? All they got to do is because well, we can't do anything. That's why I read that Deuteronomy 28 is part of the curses. But the ones you got to understand when it come down to the curses, there's individuals, you know what I'm saying, who bringing this forth and stuff. Why? Because they want to see Israel. They want to see Israel destroyed, right? It's like certain people are popping in my mind and stuff, and guess what? They're not the ones stuff that should be considered. You know what I'm saying? Until fully proven or further notice, right? So now, so therefore, as you can see, James 2:13, for he shall have judgment without mercy that have shewed no mercy, and mercy rejoice against judgment. And since the nations and stuff hate Israel, all 12 tribes, even Israelites and stuff that look like them, right? Uh, uh, Therefore, it's like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put you in a position and stuff where you're always gonna be messed up in the Lord. And guess what? All they gotta do is do that one time. All they gotta do that's one time and whatnot and stuff, right? And with that one time, guess what? You see how it's still continuous, it's still ongoing, never ending, right? So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Bear with me. So this is this is Rock with Ecclesiastes in Apocrypha, chapter 34, verse 21. And it says, the bread of the needy is their life. It says, he that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. It says, man, somebody and stuff is at work. You know what I'm saying? Actually, well, you still get yeah. So like it says, verse 22, it says, he that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. It says, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshedder. So let's say and stuff when it come down to your job, right? Uh, no, not your job. Yeah, so you working and whatnot and stuff, and let's say it like this. Really, according to the scriptures, you're supposed to get paid every day. You know what I'm saying? There shouldn't be no weekly, no bi-weekly and whatnot and stuff, but this is just how it is underneath this man's system. And that's all across the world now, right? It's a philosophy. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta, use the world and not abuse it. We gotta use the world, not abuse it. So with that being the case and stuff, for the fact that you don't get your money and stuff worth, you get a credit, you know what I'm saying, until you get paid and stuff when it come down to payday. But when it come down to getting paid every day and whatnot and stuff, guess what? That's your money being defrauded, even though you're gonna get it later down the line. Because according to the scriptures, you're supposed to get paid every single day. Right? Um and then we also know and stuff in various according to this world system, you know what I'm saying, a society and stuff, they have various other things and stuff where you get defrauded or cheated out of your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Finessed, I guess you can say. Where they get when finesse and stuff is where one person's stuff gets a gain. Well, it actually goes into that Sirach 5 and 8, where you gets a gain and whatnot, and the other and stuff really doesn't get anything. You know what I'm saying, right? So I'm just making this short. This is Matthew chapter 27 and 21. And this is Matthew 27:21. It says, the governor answering, this was Pilate. This is when they had Yahweh Shai and stuff. They had him apprehended from the wicked of the Sadducees. Right? No, the wicked of the circumcision, whether they Pharisees or Sadducees. You know what I'm saying? Right? Priests, lawyers, scribes, right? They was right. So it says the wicked ones. You know what I'm saying? Of the uncircumcision. Oh no, of the circumcision. You know what I'm saying? But they was wicked. This Matthew 27 and 21. It says the governor answered and said unto them, whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. It says, Pilate saith unto them, what shall I do then with Yahushua Hamashiach, which is called Hamashiach? It says, they all say unto him, let him be crucified, crossed out, meaning kill him, right? Right? And it says, verse 23, and the governor said, why, what evil have he done? But they cried out the more, saying, let him be crucified. Right? Why? Because the wicked of the circumcision, everybody else and stuff who was witnessing Yahushua and stuff to be executed and whatnot and stuff, they were going through the crowds and stuff and using cringeful things and whatnot and stuff to get the people and stuff to all agree, you know what I'm saying, for Yahushua to be crucified, right? Buzzwords, loaded words, right? To incite the people to be on their side and stuff to get rid of Yahushua, you know? So it's this Matthew 27 verse 24. It says, when Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it, which he wouldn't, because he was the judge at that time. You know what I'm saying? You know, and really he did it out of fear, because if he would have released Yahweh, not only and stuff where they would have been trying to do something to Yahweh and stuff, you know, they would have killed Pilate. They would have put him to death. You know what I'm saying? Because they would have thought of him and stuff to judge unrighteously, you know? So this verse 25, right? So this is the people, right? It says, then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children, right? So that's you know how you got generational wealth, you know what I'm saying, right? Well, that was a generational curse, you know what I'm saying, right? So that they placed upon themselves, you know, and guess what? Majority of those people, like it says, uh uh majority of those people, or whoever it is and stuff who's marked by that and stuff, right? They're they're gonna always stay in a certain spirit and whatnot and stuff, right? They're gonna always stay in a certain spirit and stuff. They're not gonna lose it. You know what I'm saying? Because more than likely, if you get reincarnated, you don't remember the stuff your previous life. So therefore, they're more than likely gonna stay underneath this curse. And why are they gonna stay underneath this curse? Because more than likely, Esau Edom is gonna have their minds and stuff in the palm of his hand. You know what I'm saying? And what's part of that? Israelites and stuff who like the heathenistic way more than their own heritage, you know? So, you know, just a quick lesson, you know what I'm saying, right? If I was more clear and whatnot in my under you know, execution of giving understanding to you all and stuff, maybe it would have been shorter, you know, but that is example of of that's an example of committing one sin. Because what did they do? What did they do? They bear false witness against Yahweh Shai. Because the motherfuckers didn't know. The people and stuff didn't know, right? They didn't seek the whole conclusion of the matter. It was just one sided, right? Because of the wicked of the wicked of the circumcision. And when it came down to the wicked of the circumcision, because they was envious of Yahweh Shai, they bear false witness. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? It was still continuous and stuff even till this day. Because of reincarnation, they more than likely gonna do the according to reincarnation, they still going to recreate and stuff that situation. You know what I'm saying? You know how like and what's an example? You'll have individuals and stuff where they'll be like they'll do something bad and whatnot and stuff, and then like for example, I have certain scoffers and stuff who say that we're gonna make you a 2/3. Well, if my consciousness is to seek after Yahweh Shai Shai and not be a 2/3 and whatnot and do what's righteous and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, and not do anything to other people and stuff, but then also be able to recorrect or correct myself for self-sabotage and whatnot, say meaning for when you go off, according to Proverbs 24:16, and not doing anything to nobody else and stuff where they continuous in that position, right? Mm, right, like okay, because pretty much and stuff, when I say continuous in this position and stuff, what they're trying to do and stuff is cut mercy off from me, but they can't cut mercy off from me. You know what I'm saying, right? But say if it were possible, which is not, say if it were possible and stuff to cut somebody mercy off and stuff, they'll be subject to that James 2:13. He that sheweth no mercy shall receive none. Why? Because guess what? They're trying to separate me from Yahweh and Yahweh Shah, right? So which they can't do, remember. So with that being the case and stuff, even if they do one thing, say they do one thing, and I'm not in agreement, you know what I'm saying, or it's not according to my conscience stuff to do so, right? Like the Lord said, he will take the crafty and their craftiness, you know what I'm saying, right? It will return upon their own pate, where I will be free from the guilt, but then guess what? That guilt will never leave from them, since they trying to permanently put an individual in a situation and stuff that cannot be fixed. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So I hope this video was edifying. I like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Hakodash. Double honors to apostles, a great millstone, and salutations to elect, which we hope to be. Shalom wa Baba Kwam Yasharala. And guess what? They're pretty much and stuff trying to, they'll always be found at fault, even though they just did something one time. Like, say it's like, oh, what we gonna do? We gonna whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? We gonna whoop your ass and stuff. We gonna turn you into a vegetable and whatnot and stuff. Well, if I can't be healed and stuff, they're gonna be blamed for that very thing, as if they're doing it every single day. Because nothing's you know. So just an example, you know what I'm saying? I hope this video was edifying. I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Hakodash. Double honors to apostles, a great millstone, and salutations to your leg, which we hope to be. Shalom, wa Baba Kwam Yasharala.